Good evening, guys and girls. You know, I told you the other day that I'd get back to you with a little bit of more information about the big announcement from Bass Pro Shop, Cabela's, and my buddy Johnny Morris. And I've talked to Johnny several times over the last 3 or 4 days and tried to glean as much information as I can. I got so much information, I even wrote it down on a cheat sheet like my buddy Daniel Arms does over at Arms Family Homestead. If you're not subscribe to Arms Family Homestead, you need to go over there and do that. I mean, they've got over 400,000 subscribers. It's just interesting. It's just fun to watch. It's all about what they do at their homestand. Daniel's retired highway patrolman, and he just does a great job. But Bass Pro is wanting to celebrate their 50th anniversary, which this will be pretty close to, and it comes up, they want to celebrate in the biggest possible way possible. And so what they have developed and what they're coming up with, and I know some of you, a lot of you in fact, are not tournament fishermen, but you might want to go fish these tournaments if you bass fish. The Bass Pro Shop, the Johnny Morris Bass Pro Shop U.S. Open National Bass Fishing Amateur Team Championship. Now, is that a mouthful? I don't know if Johnny could even say all that. Don't you tell him I said that. Johnny Morris Bass Pro Shop U.S. Open National Bass Fishing Amateur Team Championships. Now, Johnny Morris himself can't fish this because Johnny's no amateur. He actually qualified for the first 5 Bassmaster Classics. He's a great fisherman, The championship final will be this coming November at Table Rock Lake over near Branson, Missouri. Just a fantastic place to go spend some time. If you qualify for that tournament, obviously you're going to want to be there because you're not going to believe what I tell you what the grand prize is. The grand prize is phenomenal. The biggest amount paid out in a single fishing tournament anywhere in history. And not going to be paid to, you know, a Roland Martin or a Jimmy Houston or a Kevin Van Dam. It's going to be paid to an amateur, the Amateur Team Championship. It's open to boat owners that own Trackers, Rangers, Nitro, Triton, Sun Tracker, Tahoe, or Mako. Now, you don't have to own all of them, just one. So if you got a Tracker boat, if you got a Ranger boat, a Nitro, a Triton, a Sun Tracker, which is a pontoon boat, a Tahoe, which is really a runabout, a ski boat, or a Mako, which is a saltwater flats boat, you can even still fish in this tournament. If you own any of those boats right there, you can fish in this tournament. It's a 2-man team tournament, 2-person team tournament, not 2-man, because you can be an all-female team. It can be a man and woman. It can be a man and his son or daughter. It's just an amazingly great amateur fishing tournament, exclusively for amateur teams. No professional fishermen, all amateur teams. Now, that championship, we will have $4.3 million with the winning team. Get this, the winning team. Oh, the deer are all out feeding this evening. Isn't that wonderful? Look at all them guys out there. They're all out there feeding. And we got a little bit of green clover growing up in there. I planted clover in my yard, which most people try to kill clover, but I planted clover in my yard so the deer will be able to eat during the wintertime when all the Bermuda is dead. They can get down there and eat that clover, and that's exactly what they do. And they're out there really sometime really just about all day, but certainly in the morning, certainly in the evening. Sun's about to get down over there, so let me run through all this. But $1 million to the winning team. Like I said, it's the largest payout in any single tournament ever. $4.3 million. A minimum of $1 million, listen to this, a minimum of $1 million will go to improve fish habitat in some of our older lakes. Lakes like Table Rock, lakes like Bull Shoals over in Arkansas, lakes like Tenkiller, lakes like Grand Lake. Over $1 million is going to go to conservation to make fishing better for you and for me. This is a chance for the catch of a lifetime. The catch of a lifetime. Not your personal best, although you might do it on Table Rock, but $1 million. $1 million to an amateur fishing team. Maybe the first tournament you've ever fished to go try to qualify for this. Maybe you might fish weekend tournaments all the time. You might fish bass club tournaments. It doesn't matter, just as long as you're an amateur fishing. And I don't know really what the qualifications are for an amateur. I should be able to qualify. I don't fish professional tournaments anymore. Johnny will say, yeah, right, Jimmy, yeah, right. I don't think they're going to let me fish. There'll also be division payouts for youth teams, for family teams, for all girl teams, for veterans, and much, much more. If I know Johnny Morris, and let me tell you, I know Johnny Morris, there'll be so much more added to this that we'll have to probably do another video somewhere and tell you all the things that's been added, because once Johnny's the biggest visionary I've ever seen in my life. He can look at a blank field over there and tell you what he wants that to look like 10 years from now, and it'll look that way, and it'll be spectacular. He is the biggest visionary I've ever met in my life. That's probably Johnny's biggest attribute. He's a genius, but probably his biggest attribute is his visionary. And I think when he started selling those fishing tackle in his daddy's liquor store back when he was young and fishing bass tournaments, I think he could foresee 100 Bass Pro Shop stores down the line. I think he could foresee having 100 Cabela's stores down the line, or close to 100, and seeing 120 Sportsman's Warehouse. And now it's just amazing. But let's get back to this tournament, because this is just amazing. Junior anglers, we're talking high school fishermen here. Junior anglers will have a chance to win a $250,000 scholarship to a conservation-related area of study. And I don't know how you win that, but they haven't told me that yet. So like I said, I'll probably have to be doing a few more videos on this as this year goes on. The championship in November, this is what you're trying to qualify for on Table Rock Lake to win that $1 million. The winning team wins $1 million. And by the way, these tournaments are going to be internationally broadcast on NBC worldwide, internationally broadcast. As a matter of fact, we'll have teams from Spain, from Germany, Romania, Holland, and Mexico. So it's going to be, not only will you be, well, you're going to be famous anyway. It's like winning the lottery, except for the chances you're going to win this. It's not a 1 in a billion chances to win. Somebody's going to win that $1 million. There's 3 ways to qualify for that championship. 1, finish in the top 40 of any one of 8 qualifying events. Each qualifying event will have 250 teams. If you finish in the top 40 in one of those events, you're going to get to go to Table Rock and try to win, have a chance to win $1 million first place team. The tournaments will be, here's the tournament, so there's probably going to be one of them near you. Some of the greatest tournament lakes ever. I've fished all of these lakes, and they're all great lakes. I've fished tournaments. I think I've won money on just about every one of these lakes. Okeechobee in March, that's just right around the corner. Lake Ray Roberts, which is just really less than 100 miles away from here, right down the road. And we've shot some great television shows on Ray Roberts. I don't think I've ever fished a tournament on Ray Roberts. That tournament is in April. Another tournament in April will be Lake Mead out near Las Vegas. We've shot television shows, and I've won money on that. The Chesapeake Bay up in Baltimore. That's the Bassmaster Classic up there, actually, that Ken Cook won, and I did really well in the tournament. I should have won that tournament. I blew it. I might tell you that story someday. Lake St. Clair up in Detroit, which is just absolutely full of largemouth and smallmouth. I won some pretty good checks at St. Clair. Old Hickory, that's been a really good lake for me. Old Hickory over in just above Nashville, that's been a good one. I won a good check there in a BASS tournament fishing in Drake Creek. So if you get to fish Drake Creek in September, by the way, St. Clair's in August, check out that Drake Creek. And one of my favorites that I won an awful lot of money on in BASS and FLW local tournaments back when I was fishing amateur tournaments, that'll be in October. And a last chance qualifier in Bull Shoals, which is over in Arkansas, over where Ranger boats are made, and that's another lake that's been really good to be over the years in tournaments. The entry fee, $450 per person. Youth entry fee, $250 for a youth 12 to 17. So if you fish with your 15 or 16, well, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old son or daughter, their entry fee is $250. If they're under 12, that entry fee is free. $450 per person, so that's $900 a team. And I'm going to tell you something about that in a minute that's real exciting too, as that sun's about to go down over here. There's another way you can qualify. That's one, finish in the top 40 in any one of those 8 qualifying events. Second, win one of several existing tournaments that are authorized by our independent Tracker or White River Marine dealers. Like we are an independent White River Marine dealer. Jimmy Houston Marine and Kawasaki over on Lake Tenkiller. If we are any of the tournaments that are already existing that we authorize, and we're an exclusive Tracker, Nitro, Tahoe dealer, and we handle Kawasaki also, Kawasaki mules and 4-wheelers and jet skis and stuff. win any one of those several tournaments, and you can qualify. And the third way to qualify is Bass Pro is going to honor the champions by letting them in that tournament, the champions of the 3 top college trails going. I think one of those is an FLW college trail, one of them is a BASS trail, and another one is the original college fishing trails by my buddy Charles Goodloe, who started the original college fishing. Charles is the reason that all of these college guys are getting to fish all these tournaments, and a lot of them turning professional fishermen. You owe all that to my buddy Charles Goodloe, and I spoke at some of those tournaments in the early years, and they are the granddaddy of the college fishing tours. But the winner of any of those 3 trails, the top 3 trails, will get to qualify for this tournament also. Get this right here. This is a big deal. This is amazing. And Johnny is so excited about this because Johnny Morris is the greatest conservationist of our time, perhaps the greatest conservationist in the history of America. Listen to this. 1/3 of entry fees, your entry fee, 1/3, so that $450, that $250, 1/3 of those entry fees will go to the National Fish Habitat Initiative, which improves the habitat in some of these old lakes I was talking about to make fishing better. Bass Pro Shop has decided as a company to match that 1/3 of those entry fees, and so that would be 2/3 of the entry fees go to conservation. And then Johnny convinced Toyota Trucks, Toyota Motors, to match 1/3. So that means that 100% of the entry fees go to conservation. So at least $1 million will go to conservation through this tournament. And somebody's going to win $1 million. There'll be $4.3 million given away. It's absolutely the biggest thing to ever happen in tournament fishing. Bigger than my Angler of the Year titles, bigger than Ricky Clunn's classic titles, bigger than Chris's 7 Bass and Gal Angler of the Year titles and however many classics she won. It's bigger than everything, and it won't, the money, this is not going to professional fishermen. It's going to an amateur fishing team, plus over $1 million going to conservation to make fishing better for you, fishing better to me in a lot of these old lakes that have gotten old over the years, and the fishing's not as good as they used to be. Can I tell you, fishing is better right now in the United States than it's ever been. And with my buddy Johnny Morris and his team and all of the people that are on the Bass Pro and White River Marine fishing teams that are just working day and night to make fishing better, that's exactly what's going to happen. So even if you never fished a tournament before, look at these real closely, because not only are you going to have fun, you're going to meet a lot of new people. I'm going to be at some of these tournaments myself, helping MC and helping weigh in. Bill Dance will be at some of these tournaments. Roland Martin will be at some of these tournaments. Kevin Van Dam, Ricky Clunn, be a lot of celebrities. You'll get to meet some of the greatest fishermen and the biggest celebrities of fishing of all time. If you're lucky, you might even get to meet Johnny Morris himself. Guys and girls, check it out. Go to the BassPro.com website. Pay attention to our Jimmy Houston Outdoors YouTube. We're going to be giving more information as more information comes along. The Bass Pro Shop, BassProShop.com. I don't know what all their social media is, but they're big. They've got 3 million people on Facebook. But if you will just keep track of it. And they're going to be more than, it's not going to be first come, first serve. They're going to be more than 250 teams will enter every tournament. They're going to use then some sort of a draw system, a lottery system for you to get in there. But if one of these lakes are around close to you, you need to get involved and get your name in the pot to get to fish one of these tournaments, because you could be the one to win a catch of a lifetime. Guys and gals, I love you.